All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing sort of an updated, my thoughts on the coronavirus situation, the fear really starting to take hold now, and its potential as a systemic threat. All right, so yes, unfortunately, one more video kind of giving our updated thoughts on coronavirus and whether or not this thing, just what kind of damage this thing could potentially cause for, well, all of us. Because if it causes a global recession, it's going to affect absolutely everybody. So the last time we kind of gave our thoughts on it in a video on Sunday where we were at 100,000 cases, known cases worldwide, and now we're at 134,000 cases worldwide. I live in Canada. If you guys didn't know, I am Canadian, and our prime minister, or you could say, like for those of you guys who are in the States, you could say our president's wife just got diagnosed with coronavirus, COVID-19. So it's getting pretty crazy out there, and in terms of the way people's behavior is changing, that's probably the biggest thing I think that we're kind of seeing. Is we're starting to see people it's almost like the fear and the I don't know, people being so afraid to catch it, or just being absolutely consumed by fear. The market's just absolutely crazy. Yesterday, the time of this filming, which would be Thursday, the TSX here in Canada went down 12%. The S&P 500 went down, I think it was about 10% or almost 10% in one day. Bitcoin and crypto, not being a safe place to hide either. It going down by, it was like 35% or something, like huge drops just day after day after day. So anybody who's in almost anything, unless you're just in cash, basically, maybe real estate might be okay depending on where you live, but I even see a lot more houses kind of going up for sale and that kind of thing too. So for me, just feeling like maybe it's a little bit more just kind of a delayed reaction, and that there are a lot of landlords that are probably wanting to get out, or people that are wanting to sell their houses and whatnot, just to kind of get cash, and just kind of, I guess, just the amount of fear that's taking people over, being so scared of getting this thing, is it's just absolutely crazy. Employees being asked to stay home, and this whole thing, man, it's really, really crazy. So it feels to me like, as bad as the virus is itself, because there are now almost 5,000 deaths from it, all the other things that have been affected, and of course they want to lock it down. They don't want to let it just kind of become as commonplace as something like the flu, because its mortality rate is higher in terms of percentages. It's like it was at about 3.5%. We'll see where it kind of continues here, where it goes. As that, if that set gets bigger, 100,000 is not a very big sample set for us to get a good idea, 100%. But if this thing continues, and that's what they're afraid of, is exponential growth and of it, so spreading faster and faster. So you go from 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 and it gets pretty bad, and that's where I think a lot of the kind of fear is coming from. So it's not that it's unwarranted, but about the best thing they're telling everybody to do is just stay home, don't go out, don't go shopping unless you need to, don't travel unless you need to. Maybe cancellation of business trips, cancellation of leisure activities, everybody just kind of locking themselves down. And I mean, how is that going to impact people in terms of, you've got 70% of Americans are paycheck to paycheck, so maybe they can stay home for a few days, or they can stay home for a little while, depending on what they do. But I mean, once you take that further into a few weeks of, okay, we're going to close up for a few weeks now, and are you still going to, are they still all going to get paid? These people can't afford to go for a little while without getting paid, right? It's just, it's pretty crazy, man. So, and then pretty much all the experts who are, looking at this, they're saying like this is going to be, it's kind of like it's just getting started, right? So it's just kind of beginning. So this is some crazy stuff, man. This is some really, really nasty stuff. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before, if this is completely different from anything that's ever sort of, up until today's date, of anything that there's ever been, with something that's this highly contagious, that can't seem to be locked down. And then, everybody trying their best to kind of shut things off, shut things down. But what are the impacts of that going to be on the different economies? How is that going to impact people with work and everything? And because a lot of what we do, a lot of what we spend on, a lot of businesses, most of the stuff I'd say is not absolutely necessary for our livelihood. A lot of the things we do, whether it be, let's say, go to the movies, go to the mall, buy fun stuff for ourselves, travel, do all these different things that people do. Just go to the shop and just buy whatever fun stuff. A lot of it, most of it's not absolute bare necessities like your groceries and your basic needs, right? People are not going to be doing any of this stuff because they're just too crippled by fear. They're too afraid. I went to Walmart the other day and I was just wearing like a hoodie and stuff like that, and there was like this old guy and he's like looking around like this. I was like, what the hell, man? It's like, this is crazy, man. It's just crazy. And there's hardly any cases in North America still, and so the amount, and I mean, I guess, by them shutting everything down, it's like, okay, well, we're going to stop, we're going to make sure it stays that way or whatever. It's like, okay, that's cool, but then what are the other effects of that on people when, the businesses that maybe they work for, like I said, if they're some kind of leisure type of business or something, no one's going to be going there. Then eventually, at some point, the manager or their boss is going to say, hey, we don't need you to come in because there's no customers. And then they're, okay, I'll stay home, I guess. But they got to pay the rent each month. They got to do their thing. So, and you get unemployment from the government or whatnot. And what if you have, tons of these people rushing in to get unemployment? Is the government going to back absolutely everybody for every country? It's just, man, absolutely crazy stuff. Hurting like crazy anybody who's pretty much invested in just about anything, I want to say. So, man, that's kind of where we're at right now. And I really hope this thing can either get slowed down, turned around, or kind of closed off. But it sounds like it's going to be quite the process. It sounds like it's very highly contagious, and so just even like through breathing, it's like, well, good luck not breathing. How are you going to, reducing, face-to-face interactions, that kind of thing. And then again, what effect when everybody starts doing that and avoiding face-to-face, contact with people unless it's absolutely necessary? How much of our economies are dependent on that for the systems that we have? So it's a whole systemic kind of threat as we see things continue here. So let's hope that they can kind of turn around and they can start getting that number to kind of slow down, or at least hopefully stop at some point, but at least slow down. Man, let me know what you guys think about this one. I think it's really crazy. And do you think it's overblown at this point? I mean, the thing is that the impact of it, from people being so afraid of it and closing themselves off and everything, it's hard for us to even imagine a world where people for months, like what if this lasts for months? What if this lasts for like 3 or 4 months into the summertime or something, where people are not leaving unless they absolutely have to? So what are the effects going to be on companies? What are the effects going to be on jobs? How is that going to impact all these different things? It's just it's kind of crazy to think about. It's like, wow, man, you didn't even think about all those other things that would happen if people just kind of shut down and everybody just did whatever they had to do. Like, let's say their day job, once a week, groceries or whatever, once every 2 or 3 weeks, stock up and then go back home, and that's it. For months and months on end. Like, how is that going to impact? So let me know what you guys think. How do you think this thing is going to play out? How has it impacted you personally? In your life? Have any of you guys, I'm curious to hear, have any of you guys been asked not to come into work yet? Or have any of you guys been, seen any paranoia, or people just, you can kind of see it when you look in their eyes, right? You can kind of see fear, right? You can kind of recognize it. And so, I mean, personally, I think we probably shouldn't be, well, maybe we should take appropriate measure, but you don't want to have people so scared and so locked down at the same time that they're not living, or they're not doing things that they do enjoy at least a little bit, and aren't living a decent life. They're just at home all the time, never leave, never do anything, scared to do, that's not good either. So let me know what you guys think, man. This one is really crazy. I really hope that it can get turned around soon, or it can get stopped soon. But that is a lot for, from a Monday to Friday, or from a Sunday to Friday, to go up by almost 35,000 cases. I'm not sure the the rate of change there compared to before, but I would say that it's probably, well, with exponential, if that continues, then that's going to be nasty, man. You could go from that, and then in a few weeks you could be in the hundreds of thousands, and then what are the world markets going to look like? What's everything going to look like? Maybe schools closed, all these different things, man. Crazy. A lot of businesses closing. It's like, man, people can't continue for months on end without work, or weeks on end without work, right? So let's see what happens here. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this. Those are kind of my thoughts right now. It's kind of scary stuff, but we can't allow the fear to kind of take over and have us all shut down to the point where where everything is just gonna go to hell eventually. So we'll see what happens. That's it for this video, guys. See you again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.